Welcome to your daily writing habit, episode number 163. If you're writing a book or thinking about it, or maybe you've started writing your book and are having trouble finishing it, you're in the right place. I'm your host, Christine Whitmarsh, also known as Christine Inc., I-N-K, like the stuff you write with. Each day, I'm sharing with you the writing habits I've learned over my 18 years as a ghostwriter, book coach, and author. 3 things in particular that have a huge impact on your success as an author. And these 3 things are actually they have the ability to turn a non-author or a non-writer even into an author. And they are writing fundamentals, productivity, and mindset habits. Here's today's rather comical, inspirational quote. How many writers does it take to screw in a light bulb? 6. 1 to screw it in, 1 to sharpen all the pencils in the house, 1 to make more coffee, 1 to call a friend to chat, and 1 to complain that there's never time to do any writing. Oh, wait, that's only 5, and that's why they need editors. That's an anonymous funny quote, but I hope you get a laugh out of that one. I know I did. And today is Sunday when I'm recording this. I don't know when you're listening to it, but it is Sunday story time. So this time every week, rather than giving you tips about writing your book, I thought we'd kick back a little bit and I'd give you an example of a finished product, one of my client books. And at the end of the excerpt of the book I'm about to read to you, I'll pose a question, a learning question, kind of an activity question that will hopefully help you with your own writing. So it's not entirely tell versus show, it's a little bit of each. So we're going to pull a book from the Christine Inc. author's bookshelf here. And what do we got? What I have, and this is kind of a recently published book from earlier 2019, is called The Stress Switch: The Truth About Stress and How to Short Circuit It. And it is by my awesome client, Dr. Amy Sarin. Really great book. Anybody that's interested in what really, really causes stress and exactly what she said, how to short circuit it. So I'm going to share one of Dr. Sarin's personal stories here that she includes in her book. I always encourage my clients to include personal stories is what brings your message to life. My stress story. At 27, I was stressed. My allergies were so severe that I would break out into hives every day. I had eczema rashes covering so much of my body that I avoided exercise because sweating was so painful that I would start crying. My body was so inflamed, I felt like scratching my skin off most days. Once I allowed myself to do it, I would rub my face so vigorously that it swelled up. When I went to the ER, they brought in a team of residents to observe me because my case was apparently incredibly medically interesting. To outsiders, I had a charmed life. My boyfriend was a Harvard-trained doctor trying to be supportive, but he was so caught up in his own career, he only made me worry more about my condition by smothering me with all the diagnostic possibilities and suggesting every treatment under the sun. Obsessive and stressed himself, he was fearful of all the possible side effects of topical ointments, but managed to convince me to try an experimental drug that I was actually allergic to, which made things worse. I was depressed, stressed, and working 60 hours a week plus a 2.5-hour daily commute to a business development job at a startup company in Los Angeles that I knew wasn't aligned with my true calling. I knew I had to make a change, but had no idea where to begin. My stress switch was almost perpetually in the on position. I was operating in survival mode. My doctor put me on an antidepressant and steroids, which helped a bit, but caused me to gain 20 pounds, which then triggered my teenage body image issues to resurface. I became more depressed and self-deprecating than ever, and I felt like my life was slipping away. When my cat exacerbated my allergies, I adopted her to a family friend. Eating any fermented foods would cause me to break out in hives. I had to leave several work functions because my ears would get hot and red. I became used to the idea that this was going to be my life forever. Overweight, sick, and stressed in the rat race of LA. And to the outside world, it looked like I had a great job and a great boyfriend and life was good. Firmly entrenched in the misery of my world, I had no idea how immersed I was in the cascade of stress and disease. Finally, one night on the phone, my mother gave me perspective. In tears, she quietly said, "Amy, you don't even sound like you. There's no joy in your voice. You're so far from who you are. Something needs to change." Her sadness for me sent my mind working frantically, trying to remember my life before this horrifying chapter. but all I saw was the infinite darkness in front of me. I couldn't even remember happiness at the time because I was struggling so badly. A fish doesn't know it's swimming in water because water is all it knows. I was swimming in a sea of stress and ill health, and I was so caught up in the muck, I had no idea I used to feel differently. I was in a tunnel and couldn't see the light. I had to learn to trust that the tunnel was not infinite. How long it was and how long I stayed in depended on me. Looking back, I now realize this was the beginning of the paradigm shift I'm now introducing to you. I made the shift from coping with chronic stress, from believing that we have no other choice, to finding a cure. And that again is from The Stress Switch, The Truth About Stress and How to Short Circuit It by Dr. Amy Sarin. You can find that on Amazon and where books are sold. You definitely want to hear how that story turns out and the whole paradigm shift that she introduces that book. It will blow your mind. You think you know stress? This book will blow your mind. Definitely recommend reading that. And here is today's study question for your own book writing. What personal obstacle have you overcome in life, or even professional obstacle, that might be the foundation for something bigger? So think about an obstacle you've overcome in life. Doesn't matter how small or big, because you never know. Once you put it in the microscope, it might become bigger. So think of an obstacle that you've overcome and the lessons you learned from that and the way in which you overcame that obstacle. Might that be the foundation for something bigger, something that you can introduce to help others, like Dr. Sarin has done with The Stress Switch? So that is today's Sunday story time. I hope you enjoyed it, and be sure and drop by my Inc. Authors group on Facebook for motivation, accountability, book writing and publishing resources, and more. Thank you for joining me here on Your Daily Writing Habit, where I'm helping you write and finish writing an awesome book. And if you know someone else who wants to write a book, I would love it if you would let them know about Your Daily Writing Habit. They can listen on Amazon Alexa, iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, wherever they listen to podcasts. Thank you, and until tomorrow, happy writing.